Tesla has been the undisputed king of the electric vehicle world for over a decade. From Silicon Valley startups to Wall Street's darling, Elon Musk positioned Tesla as the face of the future. But what if I told you that Tesla's biggest challenger isn't China, Germany, or Japan, it's India? That's right. India, once dismissed as a low-cost car market, has just unveiled a new generation of EVs that could change the auto industry forever. These cars aren't just cheaper, they're smarter, faster to charge, and designed for global mass adoption. For Tesla, this is more than competition. It could be the beginning of the end. Stay with me, because in this video, we'll break down how India's new EV launch shocked the world, why global automakers are panicking, and whether Tesla can survive this wave of disruption. Tesla's global dominance. For years, Tesla has been the gold standard of electric vehicles. The company turned EVs from a niche idea into a global obsession. Back in 2012, when the Model S rolled onto the streets, it didn't just beat gasoline cars in style and speed, it made electric vehicles cool. By 2020, Tesla wasn't just selling cars, it was shaping government policy, pushing automakers to adopt EV strategies, and convincing investors that the future was fully electric. Its market capitalization at one point exceeded the combined value of Toyota, Volkswagen, GM, and Ford. That's how powerful the Tesla story became. But behind the success story, cracks have been forming. Tesla is no longer the underdog, it's the incumbent. Production delays, quality complaints, and Elon Musk's controversial moves have created doubts. Meanwhile, China emerged as a heavyweight, with BYD and NIO building cheaper EVs at lightning speed. Germany and Japan lagged, but they still command respect in engineering. Tesla thought the real battle would be with China's scale. What it didn't expect was India entering the ring. For decades, India wasn't considered a serious car player on the global stage. Yes, it had Tata Motors, Mahindra, and Maruti Suzuki, but these companies focused on affordable cars for domestic use, not high-tech innovation. India was the place you outsource your IT work, not the place you look for the future of cars. That narrative has now been flipped upside down. India is no longer content being the back office of the world. It wants to lead in manufacturing, technology, and green energy, and the EV launch proves it. India enters the race. So, how did India go from being ignored to suddenly grabbing global headlines? The truth is, this has been building for years. Tata Motors, a company once mocked for building the world's cheapest car, the Nano, has reinvented itself as a pioneer in electric mobility. Mahindra, which experimented with EVs as far back as the 2000s, has quietly been improving. Ola Electric, initially just a ride-hailing company, decided to jump into the EV space and has been rolling out scooters and cars designed for the masses. What makes India's entry so disruptive is the scale and cost. While Tesla built luxury sedans and SUVs for premium markets, India went after affordability. The average Indian consumer can't afford a $40,000 Tesla. So Indian automakers engineered cars priced between $10,000 and $25,000, and yet they come with features that shock the industry. We are talking about ranges, crossing 400 kilometers, fast charging under an hour, and interiors packed with smart connectivity features. For years, critics laughed at Indian cars, calling them cheap and unsafe. Now, Indian EVs are being tested in Europe and Southeast Asia, and they're turning heads. Global analysts are beginning to realize that India's play isn't just about domestic adoption. With its massive population, India already has the volume advantage. But the bigger shock is that these EVs are being prepared for exports to Africa, Southeast Asia, Latin America, and eventually Europe. Tesla's dream was to make EVs mainstream. India might be the one to actually do it. The new generation EV launch. The recent launch that shocked the auto industry wasn't just about unveiling a new car, it was about unveiling a new future. The star of the show? A sleek, affordable EV from India that delivers high-end features at half the cost of a Tesla Model 3. This isn't vaporware. The car is real, tested, and ready for rollout. First, let's talk about the range. While Tesla has long bragged about 350 to 400 miles per charge, India's latest EV matches that at a fraction of the cost. The secret lies in battery efficiency and a lighter design. Charging time has also been slashed. With new fast-charging networks, these cars can go from 20% to 80% in under 40 minutes. Compare that with Tesla's supercharger network, and suddenly, the Indian EV doesn't look second-class at all. Then there's price. Tesla's cheapest Model 3 starts at over $35,000 in most markets. The Indian EV, priced between $15,000 and $22,000. That's not just a difference, that's a market earthquake. Think about millions of families in Asia, Africa, and Latin America who could never dream of owning a Tesla but can now own a stylish, efficient EV. What's even more shocking is the design. This isn't some boxy, budget car. The launch showcased sleek lines, futuristic dashboards, and AI-assisted driving features. The message was clear: India isn't making cheap knockoffs. It's making aspirational cars that also happen to be affordable. That combination is what has global automakers on edge. The technology edge. The question most people ask is, how can India pull this off? The answer lies in technology. Unlike traditional automakers, Indian EV makers have leaned heavily on the country's IT backbone. Companies like Infosys, Wipro, and Tata Consultancy Services aren't just running banks and governments' back-end systems. They're also developing software for smart mobility, autonomous driving, and data analytics. Take the battery. While the West is stuck with expensive lithium-ion batteries, Indian firms are investing in sodium-ion and other alternatives that reduce dependency on China. The result is a cheaper, more sustainable battery supply chain. Add to that India's growing solar and renewable energy ecosystem, and you have EVs powered by cleaner, local energy sources. Software is another hidden edge. Tesla prides itself on being a tech company on wheels. But India has thousands of engineers working on AI, machine learning, and mobility solutions. Indian EVs come preloaded with smart dashboards, real-time diagnostics, predictive maintenance, and even subscription-based software services. Imagine owning a car that updates itself overnight, just like your smartphone. That's no longer Tesla's monopoly. This blend of hardware and software is India's killer combo. For decades, Indian IT powered the world from the background. Now it's moving to the front stage, embedded into every Indian-made EV. That's why industry insiders aren't laughing anymore. They're asking, did we just underestimate India the way America underestimated Japan in the 1970s? Economic power behind the move. The Indian EV revolution isn't just about technology, it's about money and strategy. For years, India was dependent on foreign oil imports, which drained billions of dollars annually and made the economy vulnerable to global price shocks. The government saw EV adoption as both an economic and geopolitical necessity. That's why programs like the FAME initiative, faster adoption, and manufacturing of hybrid and electric vehicles were launched, pumping billions into subsidies, charging infrastructure, and research. Unlike the West, where subsidies often help luxury EV buyers, India's incentives target affordability, ensuring mass adoption. Indian conglomerates have also jumped in with full force. Tata Group, one of the oldest industrial giants, isn't just making EVs. It's building battery plants, charging stations, and supply chain networks. Reliance Industries, owned by billionaire Mukesh Ambani, is investing heavily in green hydrogen and alternative battery technologies. Adani Group is eyeing renewable-powered charging infrastructure. This isn't one company making a bet. It's the entire industrial backbone of India pivoting toward EVs. And then there's the consumer base. India has a rising middle class of over 300 million people, many of whom are buying their first cars. Unlike in the US, where most families already own 2 or 3 vehicles, India represents untapped growth. If even 10% of Indian car buyers shift to EVs in the next 5 years, we are talking about one of the largest EV markets on the planet. That scale is something Tesla cannot ignore. This economic push isn't confined to India alone. The plan is clear: dominate at home, then export to emerging markets across Asia, Africa, and Latin America. In these regions, Tesla's $40,000 price tag is simply out of reach. But an Indian EV priced at $15,000? That's a game changer. Tesla may rule in California and Berlin, but India is aiming to rule everywhere else. Global shockwaves, the auto industry is built on tradition and predictability. For over a century, Germany, Japan, and the US set the pace. But the rise of India's EVs has thrown that stability into chaos. European automakers like Volkswagen and BMW, already struggling to catch up with Tesla, now face pressure from an unexpected competitor. Japan, once the leader in hybrid technology through Toyota and Honda, looks outdated in comparison to India's bold all-electric play. China, the current EV giant with companies like BYD, NIO, and XPeng, is suddenly worried too. For years, China had no real rival in the affordable EV market. Its dominance came from mass production, low labor costs, and battery supply chains. But India is entering with a different model. Affordable cars, yes, but also backed by powerful IT ecosystems and democratic governance that appeals to Western markets. For Western governments nervous about China's influence, India looks like a safer bet. Tesla, meanwhile, finds itself squeezed from both sides. On the high end, European automakers are finally rolling out luxury EVs that challenge Tesla's Model S and Model X. On the low end, India is undercutting Tesla's Model 3 and Model Y with far cheaper alternatives. Tesla investors are starting to ask, where does Tesla truly have an edge anymore? If price, scale, and innovation are slipping away, the company's dominance may not last. Industry analysts are calling this moment a potential Nokia moment. Remember when Nokia owned the phone market and Apple's iPhone seemed like a niche luxury product? Within 5 years, Nokia was gone. That's how fast disruption happens when a company fails to adapt. For Tesla, India's EV revolution isn't just another competitor. It's a direct threat to its survival story. Tesla versus India. The showdown lets compare Tesla and India's new generation EVs head-to-head. Tesla has always led with innovation, autopilot, superchargers, and premium design. But innovation comes at a cost. Tesla's cheapest cars still cater to upper-middle-class buyers in the US and Europe. India's EVs, on the other hand, are built for affordability without compromising on technology. That changes the competitive landscape. In terms of price, Tesla sits at $35,000 to $50,000 for mass models. India's EVs? $15,000 to $22,000. That alone means Tesla loses in markets where affordability matters most. On battery range, Tesla has a slight edge, with 400 to 450 miles on higher-end models. But India's latest EVs aren't far behind, offering 350 to 400 miles, more than enough for daily use. On charging speed, India is rapidly building networks that rival Tesla's superchargers, and in some areas, offer faster turnaround. Then comes software. Tesla has prided itself on over-the-air updates and AI-driven features. But Indian EVs are coming preloaded with smart dashboards, predictive maintenance, and integrations with popular apps, designed by some of the best IT firms in the world. Think of Tesla as a tech company that became a car maker. India is a country of tech companies becoming car makers, at scale. The psychological shift is huge. Tesla was once the underdog, fighting the giants of Detroit and Stuttgart. Now, it risks becoming the establishment, disrupted by scrappy innovators from India. If Indian EVs dominate emerging markets, they will capture millions of new customers Tesla can't reach. And once India proves its cars are reliable, stylish, and affordable, even Western, consumers might start asking, why should I pay twice as much for a Tesla when I can get the same features for half the cost? Cultural and political impact. This isn't just about cars. India's EV success has massive cultural and political implications. For decades, India was seen as the back office of the world, providing IT support while China became the factory. That perception is now changing. With EVs, India is proving it can innovate, manufacture, and scale products that compete on the global stage. It's a source of national pride and soft power. Politically, this reshapes alliances. The US and Europe are already seeking alternatives to China in supply chains. India, with its democratic system and growing economy, looks like the perfect partner. Expect to see more trade deals, joint ventures, and Western investment flowing into India's EV sector. For Washington, supporting India's EV revolution is a way to counterbalance China without military conflict. For developing nations, India's EVs represent accessibility. Countries in Africa, Southeast Asia, and South America often get left behind in technological revolutions. Tesla never designed cars for them. But India is making EVs they can afford. This positions India not just as a global player but as a leader of the global south. Culturally, this could redefine how India is perceived worldwide. No longer just a land of call centers and Bollywood, but a hub of innovation and green technology. The image of Made in India may soon carry the same weight as Made in Japan once did in the 1980s. The end of Tesla? So, is this truly the end of Tesla? Not necessarily, but it could be the end of Tesla's dominance. The company will survive, It still has strong brand recognition and loyal customers. But survival isn't the same as leadership. If Tesla becomes just another EV maker among many, it loses the magic that made it so valuable. Tesla has a few options. It could slash prices, but that would hurt its margins. It could double down on high-end luxury and autonomous driving, leaving the mass market to India and China. Or it could partner with Indian companies, sharing technology while benefiting from India's scale. But each path carries risks. Elon Musk built Tesla on the promise of disruption. Now, for the first time, Tesla is the one being disrupted. Investors, governments, and consumers are watching closely. The question is no longer, can Tesla beat Detroit? It's, can Tesla survive India? And that's a question no one expected to be asking 5 years ago. The auto industry is at a turning point. Tesla may have started the revolution, but revolutions don't end with the first leader. India's new generation of EVs shows that the future won't just be written in California or Shanghai. It may just be written in Mumbai, Bangalore, and Pune. This isn't just about cars. It's about power, influence, and who gets to define the next chapter of technology. If Tesla doesn't adapt, history may remember it like Nokia, the pioneer that sparked a revolution but couldn't survive its own success. So, what do you think? Is this truly the beginning of Tesla's end? Or can Elon Musk pull off one more miracle? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this deep dive, and subscribe for more global shifting stories. Because the EV war has just begun, and the next battlefield is India.